Welcome to the Flower Lounge, a place for conversations with wildly creative people and a little plant-loving wisdom to help you experience life in full bloom. I'm Katie Hess, flower alchemist and founder of LOTUSWEI, and I believe in a world where we're all living at our personal edge. Welcome to the Flowerlounge Podcast. This is a Moonshine episode for September with Kristina Wingeier. That was hard to get out. We're in September now.
I know, it's so crazy. What happened to this year? It's like the final lap, I guess, like if there's 4 quarters in a year, you know about this more than I do, but it feels like that turn. It's fall. We're moving into fall this month, and it's been such a wild summer. I think this summer just, swallowed me up and spat me out. I don't know about you. But it's September, and it's a pretty busy month.
Kristina, let me interrupt you for a second. Mm-hmm. I got to say something. So somebody wrote to us a couple days ago and was like, my God, you guys are like typing during episodes. Would you stop? It's so distracting. And so I just wanted to say, in case anybody else noticed, there is this weird sound. Neither Kristina nor I are ever typing. I always make sure I take my notes in a notebook, and then I have to take the time to transcribe everything later afterwards into the blog post, because I would never type during an episode because I know y'all can hear it. So there is
no typing here.
Figure out what it is.
All paper, baby, all paper.
So our podcast editor, it's really hard for him to edit that out. So he's trying to figure out is there some sort of electronic zappiness in this little box that I'm using? I know neither of our earrings are banging against the
nope, I got studs on. No banging.
I know, right?
No necklaces, no jewelry.
Forgive us if you hear any typing, and trust me, nobody is typing, because that's extremely distracting. And if you hear it during this episode, just trust that we're trying to figure it out and get rid of it.
Well, I think that's a perfect kind of segue into the energy of the little annoying things, all the little details. The devil is in the details, and because we have so much Virgo energy entering September, right? And so Virgo is very discerning and wants things perfect. So we want a crystal clear, perfect podcast.
I know, as it should
be. A perfect world, though, because technology is wonky and weird things happen and things are out of our control, right? Because when we're working with the Virgo energy, opposite of Virgo is the Pisces energy, and that's the surrender and let go and go with the flow energy. So we're definitely dancing in this duality this month for sure. So September, it is, we really enter the month again, all the Virgo. It's the Sun, Mercury, Mars, and Venus, all in Virgo. So all the personal planets, the new moon just happened. There is a big focus on analysis and reviewing and sorting, right? And there's this earth energy after all that fiery Leo fun that we had. So it's this kind of finding the ground beneath our feet, trying to sift and sort and create new patterns that can bring harmony and balance in your life, because September is a month where a lot of people change schedules, go back to school, and things like that. So there's a lot of little details that are wanting to be organized. So that's kind of the energy. We have Mars in Virgo all month long, which is going to help us get things done, stay focused. And also Saturn's going to station direct this month. So that's a big deal as well. So those are just some of the overview of the month. And then let's just get into it.
Wait, are you going to tell us later more details about what that means about Saturn being retrograde, having been retrograde and going direct?
Unless you want me to talk about it right now. I was just
right now.
Right now? Okay. So Saturn has been in Capricorn since late 2017. Saturn is in Capricorn for about 3 years. So this summer has us midway in our Saturn and Capricorn journey. So this is like Saturn and Capricorn is in it's strong, it's building, it's creating foundations and organizing things. And when Saturn's in retrograde, then there's this review and analysis of what you've been building, like what's working, what's not working, what do I need to shift and change. And then when Saturn goes direct, it really is the forward momentum for the rest of this year with Saturn and Capricorn. So what is it that you're focusing on? What is it that you're working on? You can't ruminate on it anymore. That's where all this analysis has got to, like, the rubber has to hit the road. And when Saturn turns direct mid-month, I mean, Saturn's very still for a while, but generally the energy is moving forward and Saturn's going forward with the plans. Doesn't have to review the blueprint. It's building. That makes sense.
And did I understand correctly that Saturn is in Capricorn until 2023?
No, till 2020.
2020, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, Saturn's got some big things happening in 2020, but let's not go that far.
We don't need to go that far.
No, but this is like the midway point of the Saturn and Capricorn cycle in general. And Saturn goes retrograde every year, and we're at the end of that retrograde and moving forward this month. So it's big. Saturn has a big influence. You can see Saturn's really bright in the sky too, for those sky watchers at night. We've got Jupiter and Saturn in the sky. So beautiful. So yeah, so those are some of the bigger themes this month. We'll start out the first week. Let's see. It's a really busy week, the first week of September. There are a lot of aspects happening. So I'm not going to go through every single one because that's just going to be like a lot of blah, 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 right? But in general, that I would just say that you're really going to want to stay grounded this week and take care of your body, right? There's going to be a lot of intuitive thinking, kind of flashes of insights at the beginning of the week. There is going to be some stability to your new moon wishes coming forward. And there's definitely, by Wednesday, in the middle of the week, we have a Mercury Cazimi. We have that Sun-Mercury conjunction with Mercury direct, and it's also with Mars involved. So it's like super kind of charged Mercury Cazimi in Virgo. So I'm telling you, there's a lot of analysis and details and juggling and organizing going on, and you're really going to want to stay grounded and keep like a balance between looking at the big picture and focusing on the details and not getting like pulled into like micromanaging every aspect of your life, or else you'll really just burn out really quickly this month, I think. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah. But that Wednesday is a pretty buzzy day because of the Cazimi and because Mars is involved. And again, it's all this Virgo energy. There may be some feeling of frustration or like a little bit like things, you might have had big plans and things aren't quite working out as you thought they would this week, but you really want to try to just keep hopeful and keep steady and keep just doing what you need to do step by step to get things done. Just very practical, very one foot in front of the other, and don't get tied up again in micromanaging all the little things. Let's see. And then, I'm sorry, that is a Tuesday Mercury Cazimi, not a Wednesday Mercury Cazimi. So I lied. I've already lied in whatever 10 minutes into the podcast.
Wait. Hold on.
Sorry.
I'm still getting my footing here of what month we're in. So we've got September 2nd, Monday is Labor Day in the States. So that is holiday. And
that's the Cazimi. No, that's Tuesday. No. Oh my God. See, I can't either. I'm telling you. I can't even. This month is already making me crazy.
September 2nd is Labor Day, and September 3rd, Tuesday is...
Oh, so that's the day everybody goes back to work? Tuesday?
Nice. Yeah.
Is that right? Okay, so that's the day of the Cazimi and the Mars and the like just activating, power down, get your, you're going to like head into the week like, okay, here's the game plan, and you're going to have a lot of energy, but again, like you really you may be pushing, get some frustrations. You may be feeling like things aren't getting done. You don't want to spin your wheels. Do you know what I mean? When there's a lot to get done, sometimes we spin our wheels instead of getting more focused and just getting really step by step. And so I just feel like when there's a lot of energy and a lot of Virgo energy, you want to prioritize your task and stay steady with them rather than get pulled off by going down crazy little rabbit holes to try to make something perfect. Like, can it be good enough? Like, what about like letting things be good enough and knowing that things can always be better, but like do your very best and then move on instead of, does that make sense? Because I feel like that's kind of what might happen. Because what's happening this month is like all this Virgo energy, right? With all the planets in Virgo, with the sun, our vitality, Venus, love and money, Mars, action, Mercury, thinking, like all that energy, wanting to make everything perfect. And the planets also are going to be, again, I talked about that Pisces opposition. Neptune's over there. And when all the planets oppose Neptune as they're moving through Virgo, they get confused. So there's focus and then there's confusion, and there's focus and then there's confusion. So you just want to stay steady, right? Make it good enough.
Yeah, especially if you got a lot going on in your life, because I could see if you like you mentioned before, if you run a business, last quarter's coming, so you're planning your last quarter. If you've got kids, you're getting them off to school, so you have a million things to get ready for them. And then the weather's getting cooler. You might change your health routines and food routines. And especially here in the States, we would just pressure ourselves to do everything perfectly. So maybe something we could just sort of hold ourselves accountable for is just like back up. What are the 3 main priorities?
Love it.
Not getting into a spin, right?
Love it. Yes. Love it. And I really also think that just knowing that you're going to hit bumps in the road and don't let them knock you off your path, just go with the flow, make it work.
Being imperfect is sexy.
Yeah. Being imperfect is sexy. Oh yeah. Imperfection is the new sexy. There we go.
I remember the first time I went to Spain when I was traveling in Europe, I was like 20 or something.
Baby Katie.
Little Katie on a train, the first time going into Spain. And I remember seeing so many people who hadn't, like there wasn't a culture of getting braces and having perfect teeth. Mm-hmm. And so I remember seeing so many folks with crooked teeth and I was like, my God, that's sexy. It's sexy. Like this whole straight teeth thing is overrated. So,
yeah. Oh my God, I love it. That's the perfect analysis for all the Virgo. Yes. I mean, like you said, like you're showing up in integrity and, you're doing your best and you get discerning, like make that list, 3 things. Your list will probably be 10 pages long, but each day, just one by one or take the top 3. It's just true. I know mine is. Everything's piling up right now. I'm looking into September and I'm like, oh my God, I have so many things to get done. And if I do that, then I just spin my wheels and get overwhelmed. But if I just make a list of what's the 3 things I need to do today off this list, what's due next, right? Really practical. Look at your calendar, just do it in order, and then you get things done. So yeah, there may be some bumps in the road, foggy thinking, and the weekend of this first week in September, that's the month. I keep getting confused. It's hard for me to say September. The moon moves into Capricorn. And so whenever the moon goes into Capricorn, it's kind of heavy because of Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn. So sometimes these moon and Capricorn times feel like just extra pressure. And that weekend, let me see, what did I write here? Intense weekend because of the Capricorn moon. Yeah, there's definitely just aspects that are really you might be questioning your choices. You might be finding some power struggles in your relationships. You might, again, feel like confused or like people might be lying to you. These are all these aspects with Mercury and Venus making aspects to Jupiter and Pluto and Saturn and Neptune. So there's just a lot of it's a heavy weekend, I think. So do something like go swimming. Go swimming. Don't get I just wrote mind churning. It just looks like there could be this mind churning, like chewing going on. I picture all the cows when they chew and chew and chew and how we can do that in our minds over things. And And I just really think this weekend could be a little like that. And so make sure that you're able to take a break. I think take a break this weekend if you can. Loosen up. Looking at my notes here. I'm worried about moving paper because I think it's going to sound like typing. So I'm like, I feel like my papers are like everywhere, and I'm like, oh no, I don't want to move anything.
No, you can move the papers.
Sound like typing.
Move them as much as you want. Paper shuffling isn't as bad as like typing.
I'm not typing. It's not me. There is a Sun-Jupiter square this weekend too, which these squares, they can really have you feeling blocked. I feel like this weekend with the Capricorn energy and all these aspects, I mean, when I look at this page, there's like 2 pages of aspects for 1 week of astrology. And so it's like so many things, there's so many like things competing for your attention in a certain way. Do you know what I mean? Like these pieces of paper with all this information to me. And so whatever is blocking you, you know, really, you're going to need to find new ways through things. And I think this is a nice weekend to take time off from all of your projects, even though people tend to do a lot of work on the weekends because that's when you have time, is to kind of notice what has worked, what's, you know, kind of celebrate what is working, kind of, you know, moving forward from a place of acknowledgement of what's working and what you can improve upon, but not like what's not working. Does that make sense? It might not make sense.
On what's wrong. Take time.
Thank you.
Make some space so that real wisdom can arise versus getting stuck in the details.
Girl, you got it. Thank you. Because I don't even want to look at that piece of paper anymore. There's just too many aspects on it. September's stressing me out and it's not even happening yet. Okay. It's only because I'm starting like teaching a new 9-month program this month and ending a 3-month program. And it's like a lot of endings and beginnings and a lot of things to get done.
Wow. That's like being pregnant.
I know I often work in these 9s and 3s because I used to do birth work. So I love to work with gestation cycles and trimesters and things like that. So anyway, week 1 and done. Busy, overwhelmed, stay on track. When you're blocked, find a new way through. Don't lose hope. Just keep steady steps forward and you'll get your stuff done. The second week is building toward the full moon. We have 2 sign changes this week, right? Both Mercury and Libra are moving from Virgo in, did I say Mercury and Libra?
You did.
Mercury and Venus are moving from Virgo into Libra this week, right? With the full moon. So there's a big shifting energy this week. And
when's full moon, Kristina?
The 13th and the 14th, depending where you live. For me, it's on the 13th, Friday the 13th. Magical day. I love Friday the 13th. And for some folks, it's going to be on Saturday. For much of the world, it'll be on Saturday the 14th. It's full moon in Pisces. But I'm going to back up to the beginning of the week. The week starts out with this Sun opposition to Neptune. So this is an annual thing when the Sun and Neptune oppose each other. And for the last many years and for a few more years to come, it's always going to be in Pisces and Virgo because Neptune takes a long time to move through planets and is very slowly swimming through Pisces. So this is this kind of blurry, kind of confusing, maybe drains your vitality a little bit because the Virgo energy is like, focus, work. And the Neptune and Pisces energy is like, relax, dream, escape, you know? And so you really, if you took care of yourself over the weekend, then this may be an aspect that just helps you see very clearly where things are blurry in your life and where you kind of need to clean the windows. But if you worked too hard over the weekend, then you might feel really tired by this aspect. Plus, that night, the moon goes void of course. And then the moon, all day Wednesday, the moon is in void of course. And this is a really strange energy. We don't talk about it a lot because we don't really focus on all the moon's movement in the lunar cycle. But when the moon is void of course, the moon isn't making any aspects to any planets. So it's like the moon is just floating. And it's kind of like a day where it's hard to get traction and where you feel like, I don't know, you try to begin things, but you can't quite do it, or like everything you try to do kind of just doesn't come together, or you just feel as though you're moving backwards or like swimming in molasses. It's this very strange energy. There was a long void of course yesterday, and I was trying to work, and it took me an hour to write an email that was one paragraph. Like literally, I could not get it together. So it's this kind of strange energy right after that Sun-Neptune opposition. So I feel like there might be this big like diffusion kind of energy where things, get really focused, and then all of a sudden it's like everything's really blurry and kind of floating for a minute. And the Mars is in Virgo, wanting you to push through things because it's making a square to Jupiter. In Sagittarius, like just push through, just do it, make it happen. Whereas the moon then finally moves into Pisces on Thursday, and it's like, no, just surrender, let go, because we're moving toward that Pisces full moon the weekend, right? So you're being tested a little early on letting go and surrendering with the Pisces full moon by this whole void of course situation this week. It's a trippy week. And then the full moon is in Pisces. You want to look back to the new moon in Pisces on March 6th, if you want to do that 6-month new moon, full moon review thing, right? Let me look at the chart. Hold on. Too many pieces of paper because, all the Virgo. Let's see. Yeah, this full moon in Pisces is conjunct Neptune. The moon is right there with Neptune, and the sun is with Mars. So there's this real kind of push-pull between getting everything done and the nitty-gritty, and this bigger picture, dreaming, surrendering, letting go, not trying to control things so much. There's a real kind of teeter-totter with that energy on this full moon. There's like the intuition versus logic kind of thing. And you really want to make sure that you're tuning in to the more subtle messages and to trust those more subtle kind of hints rather than having everything to make sense with this full moon. There's a pressure to get things right again. But again, if you can lean into trust, if you've been doing your work and following your plans, then you can kind of let go a little bit and trust that you'll be held. I feel like it feels like that when I look at this full moon. What do you have to say about Pisces energy? You have a lot of experience with that.
I love Pisces.
Don't you love them?
It's just easy.
What's easy about Pisces?
Easy is pretty much everything except for ordering off a menu. It's like, so what I like, I was with 3 Pisces this summer. So being with Taylor and Claire in Singapore, if there was any like new business thing we were doing, it was just sort of like, we all kind of looked at each other and figured it out, right? That's what I like about Pisces. It's like harmony, easygoing, and intuitive, and you just kind of things fall into place. The shit show is like you get 3 Pisces in a restaurant and you're like, oh, what do we order? So, it could be like, what do you want in life? What are you ordering for this fall? What are you, what are you ordering? What's up next for you? So that could be tricky, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And I guess the other thing when you hit that place of feeling confused, then with that Neptune in Pisces and the moon right there might be a desire to escape, right? To like, and really into habits and patterns that are less useful. That happens with that energy sometimes. It can trigger like addictive patterns and habits of escaping, because Neptune and Pisces is a dreamer. And it's ideal, kind of an ideal and dreamy and transcendent. And sometimes all that Virgo energy is like the reality of the situation. And that's hard to face, and you want to escape it, right? And that's where sometimes people escape into like too many glasses of wine, or ate too much cake and ate a stomachache or whatever, just to kind of avoid the pressures and the very harsh realities that this moon might be exposing in your life. And so how can you surrender and go with the flow? I think it's a great moon for meditation and being by the water, go to the ocean, get in the water, dreaming, like incubating a dream or something, like just kind of like, not, again, another weekend to try not to be in control so much. I said that about last weekend because the moon was in Capricorn, right? And it was like so heavy and feel pressure. So why not take a break? And I feel like this weekend also, why not just see about letting go rather than, and kind of surrendering to something bigger rather than having to control the situation. There's going to be a shift with Libra and Mercury at the same time around the full moon, right after the full moon. They both move into Libra, which is a much happier place for Virgo. I mean, I literally can't talk today. My God. For Venus, sorry. And this is really, I was dreading this podcast because I really can't, I'm getting nothing done in any impaired Virgo over here.
Perfectly sexy, remember?
Oh yeah, I'm so sexy. Venus is super happy in Libra, right? So and that's a nice. We start to like let go of all the Virgo obsession with this full moon. I guess that's kind of the surrender. It's like, oh, okay, Venus is moving into Libra, Mercury's moving into Libra. There's less focus on the Virgo. There's more like harmony and balance and kind of equilibrium, inviting in that rather than overdoing it with Virgo, right? So kind of letting go of the need to overdo things. What about that? Oh, that's edgy.
But not going to the other extreme of binge watching Netflix 12 hours Saturday and 12 hours Sunday while eating like 4 batches of chocolate chip cookie dough.
Just 2 batches and maybe 6 hours a day, and there you go. Right? Find your happy medium.
Right.
Well, you know what? I think like if you're somebody who's been slacking off all month, right? You might want to kind of pull it together. But if you're someone who's been working hard all month, you might want to just do the Netflix and the cookie dough binging. Like, I just think it's this
great advice. Just
right?
find your balance.
It's about it is because we're moving into Libra energy. The planets start to move to Libra. And so we do start to think of that balance. And again, at the beginning of the month, we came in with all this like grounded analysis of how to create new patterns that bring more harmony and flow into your life, right? How to stop spinning your wheels in order to try to get everything done. And that really is about cultivating balance, right? And knowing what things, like weighing your options and choosing wisely about where to focus and where to prioritize. And it's always adjusting because that's what we do to find quote balance, right? So yeah, that's that. Mercury will be in Libra until October 3rd, and that's going to bring more harmony to conversations and communications. Whereas with the Mercury in Virgo, Mercury is super high functioning in Virgo, but sometimes can get really critical. Right. And so this is going to bring more harmony in conversations. And Venus is really happy in Libra. She'll be there till October 8th. And again, that's going to bring more diplomacy and fairness in relationships, relational dynamics. And it's a nice feeling to have some shift into Virgo with this full moon in Pisces. Do you want to talk about any of the LOTUSWEI things? Let's take a pause and talk about the elixir or the spray, because I feel like the spray would be really good. I mean, for this moon, but Pisces is so much about compassion, right? And this fierce compassion. Isn't that the spray, fierce compassion?
Yeah, it's fierce compassion. So that's the one of the month. So this is the support for this month. I could see it also helping in that, that like tightness of the wanting things to be perfect and wanting to get every detail right, to just sort of like soften that up a little bit and loosen up any of those patterns from childhood that, things have to be perfect and that we have to work really, really, really hard in order for things to be valuable. Yeah, so there's rose in fierce compassion, and rose, the main job of this particular rose that we use, the essence, although we do use the essential oil as well, but the actual energetic imprint is basically scouring your DNA for any messages about struggle, that things have to be hard in order to be worthy. And so getting rid of that and just bringing in more softness, more tenderness, gentleness.
Oh, I love that. That's so beautiful because Virgo can make things hard, right? So hardworking that it makes things hard. And it gets kind of, because it's so focused on being of service, that there can be a brittleness when you make things too hard because you just end up fraying your nervous system so much, right?
And if you're being critical, that can be wonderful to improve things, but it can also lead to you or someone else feeling rejected. And so fierce compassion is like the perfect antidote for rejection.
Yeah, because criticism can get very sharp, and then you say this can help soften.
Yeah.
Right? Which is nice. I love this smell of this fierce compassion so much. It's one of my very favorite things.
I always say it smells like roses, dirt, caramel, and liquor.
Totally. It's so delicious. Yeah, I think this is a really beautiful support because Virgo really is a very, there is a sacred weaving going on with Virgo. This desire, Virgo can see things in perfection. And that vision it really helps us move things forward. But when, it's sometimes the vision and then the implementation of the vision, when you run up against other people and life, then it gets hard because things don't always go your way. And then that's where the tightness gets in, right? And the control. And we all know that Virgo has that reputation for being like anal and really like, but Virgo just really wants you to be so comfortable and have such a smooth experience. And that's what this sounds like. This elixir will help do that so that we can, achieve perfection in imperfection almost.
Wabi sabi.
Wabi sabi. I love that words. And I just love that concept. Do people know what that means? Maybe you just learned Asia. Tell us wabi sabi in a nutshell.
The perfection of imperfection.
There we go. This is a wabi sabi month. Wabi sabi month. All right, let's move on. Week 3 this is the week where you want to BYOB. Be your own boss. Because this is the week that Saturn stations direct. So this is like, you're like, no more ruminating, no more telling other people telling me what to do. Like, my Saturn's moving direct. I'm the boss of my situation, right? I know what I'm doing. I know where I'm focusing. I've gotten clear on what work I'm doing and what I'm building, and I'm in charge. I'm not giving away my authority to anybody else. I am moving forward with this bigger dream or this bigger plan that I've been working on. I'm like halfway through it, right? If we're thinking about this larger Saturn cycle, the end goal is December 2020. That's when Saturn's going to change signs. So we're midway through this. And this is just kind of like really, I feel like it's like owning your Saturn, right? Owning this Saturn in the chart. So this is activating your Capricorn house, right? So what are you boss of? What are you building? Like, what are you taking charge of this week, right? That's Saturn stationing direct is happening on Wednesday. Okay. And it may before that, those Mercury and Venus moves into Libra quickly oppose that Chiron in Aries. So there may be a little insecurity or like, a tendency to be self-critical or feel as though some old wounds are getting activated, like I'm failing. But again, where are you boss? Where are you winning? Where can you move forward from that place? Like what gains have you made? Even if they're small, like own them. You know what I mean? Like it's like we're shifting from that Virgo energy. We don't have to be so critical anymore. We don't have to, get into the nitty-gritty details. Like you built a foundation, step on it, step forward. That's what it feels like with this Saturn direct. And then Thursday, there's a Mars and Pluto trine. And it's like, this is going to help give you the power to motor through. I wrote, get out of your own way, put your nose to the grindstone, just work. Just get your work done. Don't get too, I don't know. Don't distract yourself. Just get to work.
Mars, Neptune trine?
Mars, Pluto trine.
Oh, Mars, Pluto trine.
Power. That's like heavy metal. I mean, I will probably turn on some very loud music. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes when the energy's hard and you got to work hard, like it's that, I don't know, but I'm weird that way. I listen to all kinds of music. Hello, Gemini.
Just grind it day.
Just
put your head down.
Put your head down, nose to the grindstone. But it's on the heels of that Saturn station direct, right? So you're moving forward. Like, don't stop yourself. Get out of your own way. You're still some lingering Virgo energy, which wants everything to be perfect. Hello, this Mars is in Virgo, right? Pluto's in Capricorn. There's the power, again, to like take control of your situation, right? Just go. Do it. It's not really fast, but it's really solid. Does that make sense? And the weekend, again, has a bunch of squares, like a bunch of the last quarter moon happens over the weekend. We have the third Jupiter-Neptune square this year over the weekend. We've been talking about this all year long. It's these dreams, like taking your dreams and putting them into action. And where do you dream too big? Where do you hold back? What's real? What's a fantasy? Do you know what I mean? Mariba talked about that. The first time these two planets squared was January 13th, and then again, June 16th. We were in eclipse season both times before, and now we're out of eclipse season and they're making their final connection. And so this Jupiter-Neptune square really is just highlighting, illusions and truth. And these are both spiritual planets. They're both big, kind of generous energies. And so you want to be able to tap into generosity but you need to have the right kind of containers to put the generosity in. So you don't want to get too big. It's this tendency to like do too much, or I'm babbling now. I'm tired.
No, I like it. I get it. What date is that again?
Babbling. This is the 21st.
Yeah, no, not babbling at all. I think it's really clear.
All right. So I feel like what we might see this weekend is a lot of self-righteous attitudes, because Jupiter and Sagittarius, Jupiter and Sagittarius wants the truth, and Neptune and Pisces wants the dream. And sometimes when people get very idealistic about their version of what the truth is, you get this fanaticism, and especially with these spiritual planets. So there's like these tensions, but it's really an opportunity for you to see what's real, what's possible, and to move through the blocks that are keeping you from bringing your dreams forward without getting stuck in fantasy. Does that make sense?
It does.
Thank God, because I swear I'm not making any sense to myself today. It's one of those days. Again, third aspect, reflect on your dreams and the actions that you've taken to implement them this year. This weekend is a big time of reflection. We've also got a Mercury square to Saturn right on the heels of that. So there may be some heavy energy in the mind, or just feeling at a crossroads or confused about what direction to go. And that happens, Week 4, we see a big seasonal change. The last week of the month, the 23rd of September, we have the equinox. We have the sun moving into Libra. So there's a shift of energy, a big shift here, where we're going to really, the focus is now really out of Virgo and into Libra. When the sun changes signs, it's officially like the season of that sign. Equinox is a moment of balance, right? It's the time where the day and the night are of equal length. And we have a moment to pause and reflect. Again, these Libra themes of balance, the harvest. What are we harvesting? What are we sharing? What are we letting go of? As we move into fall, fall is a time of shedding right? It's a time of winding down, but it's also paradoxically a really, really busy time of the year in holidays and all that stuff. So it's a moment to pause and reflect, to give thanks, and to think about the Libra energy, because we're going to have a new moon at the end of the week in Libra.
Before we get too deep into Libra, I'm just sitting here trying to think of how the star flower fits into this.
Talk to me about star flower.
Because, well, maybe we can figure out how it fits, but star flower, which if you're in the flower revolution, you'd be working with a star flower elixir, which looks like a little purple star. It's amazing. And it's really it's about being the star, but it's not coming from like an egoic place. It's about being free to be fully yourself and move much closer to your greatness without the fear of losing support or people being jealous or being abandoned or being alone. I think, that's like the old saying goes like, it's not your light that you're afraid of, or it's not your darkness that you're afraid of. It's your greatness, your light. And I think there's a lot of conditioning subconscious that, wow, if I like really go nuts, as we're thinking about visioning and planning and getting the details right and all the big things that we want to create in life, being able to make intuitive moves and also being able to be in your power without alienating yourself or losing support of others. So how would that elixir support the astrology of what's happening right now? Like, instead of being shy or intimidated or being in the background, being front and center, putting yourself out there without fear of failure.
I think when you're talking, what really strikes me is that sometimes we self-sabotage ourselves because we won't actually show up unless it's perfect, unless we look perfect, unless everything's, exactly right. And that holds you back from being seen, because you just hold back because it's not quite right. It's not perfect. And if I do things well and show, or even show that I don't have all my stuff together, then people are going to judge me, or, people aren't going to love me and things like that. So I feel like there's this way that trying to be perfect, we can self-sabotage ourselves. And that it sounds like this elixir is just okay. It's like that again. I think it just takes us back to the beauty and that imperfection and that wabi-sabi quality that we were talking about, and that how it's not about everything being in a straight line necessarily. It's about being brave enough to be vulnerable and be seen as a perfectly imperfect human, and in process and always doing your best, right? And so, the Virgo energy is so minute and so everyday and detailed, and the Pisces energy is so big and so vast. And that's it's a very polarizing aspect, and it's like kind of being willing to like dive off the diving board and swim into the water and get into the mess of it all, just as you are, and knowing that it's actually your quirks that make you really interesting. It's not for instance, like the more I try to do things the way that maybe other astrologers might do things and are successful at them, and don't do things the way that I do them, then I feel like I'm being inauthentic. But if I can just be me and do things my way, then it's like people resonate with that, because I am who I am, and I bring my own quirkiness to what I do. And I think we all do that. And so, does that make sense? Starflower? Yeah. Okay, I'm just distracting myself because let's see. All right. Where were we? We were talking about Starflower. We were talking about
being ourselves. Being ourselves is our greatest form of greatness, even though it's imperfect.
Yeah. It's good stuff. And Libra energy shifting with this sun moving into Libra with the equinox. Hey, you know what's really nice about this time of year right now is that Jupiter and Venus are both in their planets of strength and rulership. So there's a lot of generosity that comes. And that, I think that's also this Libra, because Libra is a relational dynamic that wants to make sure that everything, you know, there's fairness, and that we're looking at all sides of something and trying to balance things out, and justice and all of that. And so with these benefics, Jupiter and Venus in planets of strength, there's a generosity that can come forward, which is a shift in energy from the what's it called? I want to say neurosity. I'm making up words now.
Neurosis?
Yes, neurosis.
Neurosicity?
Neurosicity from the Virgo. We've gone from neurosicity to generosity. It's a good thing. It's a nice feeling, right? There's a lot of little four-leaf clovers this week. You know, like there's not a lot of, they're called sextiles. And there are these sweet little aspects that are just like, you have to kind of pay attention to see them. They're not like trines, which are like, here's a fire hose, here's like a hose, I'm going to squirt you with water and you can feel this trine, like, hello, here it comes, it's a flow. It's more of a like, oh, a little hidden thing. Oh, you know, and it's like the silver lining. There's a lot of little like silver linings this week as
treasures.
Little things.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, what do you think it's about the starflower?
Well, I had a thought.
Yeah, tell us.
I mean, starflower is also really good at enhancing our perception of seeing all the little treasures and miracles in everyday life.
OMG. I love it. That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. I'll take it because, you know, this week the sun changes signs, but the moon is waning. It's the last week of the lunar cycle, and that can be draining on your energy. And there is a Venus-Saturn square that might be big and loud on Wednesday, which feels like tight and restrictive and like somebody's bossing you around and you're not feeling very generous. So you got to look for these little treasures because they're there. They're there with, they're hidden in the fabric of your life. And on Friday, Saturn makes its third conjunction with the South Node.
Oh,
now,
hold on. That feels like a lot. Friday, September what?
Whoa.
What happens? Slow down.
I'm not even going fast. And I'm not typing. Saturn. Let's just get through the month. September 27th, Friday.
Okay.
Friday. So, you know, Saturn is just station direct, right? Last week before. Remember we talked all about it?
Yes.
Okay. And you know how all summer long we've been talking about Saturn, Pluto, and the South Node, just like that in Capricorn. Oh, the trifecta, like that. We get that sound in our voice and we're like, ugh. Right?
Yeah. Okay.
You remember? Okay.
Yeah.
So the South Node is about the past.
Yep.
It's what you're letting go of. Saturn and the South Node this is the third time that this connection's happened. It happened in April, right after Saturn stationed retrograde, like right away. And then it happened in eclipse season, another time where Saturn was on the South Node, like letting go, clearing out, letting, you know, it's a trim the fat kind of aspect, right? Because the Saturn's building something. Saturn doesn't want to spin the wheels. Saturn wants to get things done. And so you're letting go of distractions. You're letting go of the way you used to do something because it doesn't really produce the outcome that you want. And so this is this third aspect with Saturn on the South Node. We're not going to see this aspect again because now they're traveling in different directions. And so, right.
We've mastered it.
Because we've mastered it. We've let go of everything we can let go of. Not really.
You had a little Irish accent come in there.
That wasn't Irish. Although I am reading Outlander, but that's Scottish. So now all the Scots and the Irish people are like, girl, we're not the same. And I'm not trying to say so. I'm just feeling Gaelic, okay?
Same region.
I think I do have Gaelic ancestors. But I digress. Because why not? Why not get off track yet again, Kristina?
It's just one of those days.
I know.
Mercury's in some odd place, I'm sure.
Mercury's in Leo.
Oh, there we go.
Being a firecracker. Type in.
Wait, actually, you know what? I'm going to do...
She's going to type.
Typing
right now. It's her.
I'm doing, what do you call it? An experiment. Okay, I'm typing.
I hear that.
You do?
Yeah, but I don't hear the invisible typing.
Okay.
Invisible typing. I mean, what does that even mean? Invisible typing.
It's a ghostwriter, but we don't get anything.
Boom. No, wait, ghostwriter, invisible typing. That's funny. Ooh, we going off the rails now. All right. So it's this, anyway, it's the third conjunction between Saturn and the South Node. So it's just an opportunity to trim the fat. Again, it's a little thing I thought I'd mention.
I really like fat though. That's like the best part.
Well, you keep the fat that you need.
Okay.
And we trim the excess, prune the tree, weed the garden.
Okay.
It's like, let's say you have a toolkit that has every tool in it that you could possibly want, but you want to use the right tool at the right time. So choose your tool wisely.
Like it.
Hammer when you hammer, saw when you saw.
Love it.
Eat fat when you need it.
Choose the right color marker to do the right job.
Right. Choose the right color marker to do the right job. That's it. Saturn on the South Node, choose the right color marker to do the right job.
That sounds terrible. Okay, let's go back to tool.
No, I love it. I think there are so many people out there who are going to be like, yes, exactly. Because people do use a lot of different colors, even like different colors can mean different things. Anything to get me out of having to talk about the astrology. No.
Compass, direction. Okay.
Oh, coming in for a landing. Here we go. Okay, so we're at the end of the month.
Friday, September 27th.
And now it's Saturday, September 28th.
Okay.
And we have our new moon in Libra. Let me look at the chart. Hold up. I've already looked at that one.
New moon in Libra. That's lovely.
It is lovely. It is opposed to Chiron.
Oh, geez.
So it's just going to be showing you what doesn't work in relationships, right? And I feel like with Libra and Aries, because this is the dynamic, right? The new moon is in Libra. We have the sun, the moon in Libra opposing Chiron. We also have, of course, Venus and Mercury in Libra. But with this Venus, oh my God, I'm saying the wrong words. Libra, Aries dynamic, it's really always about finding the right balance of your needs and the needs of the relationship, right? It's not the other person's needs. Because when you think, I think in relationship, we think there's only two people, but there's a third thing called the relationship. And if you're always thinking about, I need to get my needs met and, oh, I'm so hurt and this is something I bring from my last relationship, but I'm still, that's the Chiron and Aries. And the Libra wants to prioritize the relationship instead of the needs of the individual. What are the needs of the relationship? And how can that help each individual get their needs met? I don't know. What do you think?
I'd buy that.
You buy it?
I'd buy that.
Sold to the girl with the colored markers. Okay.
It sounds easy. When you first said shows you what doesn't work in relationships, it's like, oh my God, does the astrology never let up?
No,
well,
it
doesn't
never,
actually, but
not for a while.
But it doesn't have to be like super hard and
not until 2025. No, I'm kidding.
It's not like grating your finger on a cheese grater, right? It's just like,
no, it's a freaking Libra moon. It's ruled by Venus and Venus is in Libra. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful moon and it's really showing, it's like a fresh start or a new foundations in relationships. It's a great moon to make wishes and intentions around your partnerships, around negotiation skills, right? Diplomacy, around, grace, bringing more grace in your life, finding equanimity.
Yeah, and this could be business relationships, right?
Absolute. Oh, big
Any
time.
kind of relationships.
Any kind of relationship, especially contractual ones. So business relationships, absolutely. Absolutely. So, and with Libra, of course, we want beauty and art. Like, I'm going to tell a story. Here I go. So this weekend, I went to a musical in Solvang. There's this really beautiful theater that is an outdoor amphitheater, like the Old Globe kind of theater. And
Wow.
it's so beautiful. So we went to see a musical. I saw Jupiter and Saturn. It was a beautiful night. And it was The Addams Family, which was a really great musical. It was a great production. And there we were, like, in nature, which was beautiful. It was a beautiful night. The theater was beautiful. There was this art on stage. There was music. There was laughter. There was this community of people laughing together. We were in this really big group from our musical theater class, like 20 of us there, like family and friends.
Wow.
We were all like, it was like art. It was beauty and art and connection, and it was just so lovely in all realms. And I feel like that's what this new moon is about, like the collective, the community, the relationship, finding beauty, finding harmony. Go to a museum this weekend. Go to a beautiful place in nature, make a beautiful meal, buy some flowers, change your sheets. I don't know. Like, it's just, the beauty is in the details, and the beauty is wabi-sabi as well, but there is a lot of potential in this new moon for stepping out on a new foot, right? That's more harmonious in the relational dynamics in your life. That's what I think.
Question for you. How could you reframe all those thoughts that you had in terms of relationship with yourself and your values?
Yourself and your values.
Or like
hone in on that one.
So speaking in terms of, revising relationships,
Mm-hmm.
how could that apply to your own relationship with yourself?
Right. Well, I think that harmony is an inside job, right? And so with Libra, I would look at Libra in your chart for people to see where in their life the Libra is. Like, the Libra energy for me is in my home life. So I might start out by bringing more harmony, like noticing what things bring harmony to me, what things help bring me back into balance, and choose to engage in those activities. I don't think I'm answering your question.
No, I think you are. I think it's kind of on the fly answering. I mean, look at Libra in your chart. I like that, because then you can see what part of your relationship you're working on with yourself.
Well, and you can see also, like, where you might tend to actually prioritize the other person. Like, this is the thing about Libra in the relationship. Like, if we think about the relationship as a third thing and we tend to it, that's beautiful. But a lot of times with Libra, there gets to be this people pleasing. And so we sacrifice what we really, ourselves, in order to make sure everybody else is okay. And so I might look at that kind of dynamic internally, where I let myself down in order to, keep things pretty, or not rock the boat, like internally, where I might be avoiding things, and I might take a good look at my own patterns around. I don't know. I'm really not making any sense.
You are, actually.
I am? Okay, because I feel like I'm not making sense. All I have to say is that there's a sweet little sextile with this new moon between Venus and Jupiter, which are those benefics I was talking about. And so Venus in Libra and Saturn in Sagittarius coming together in a really beautiful way on this new moon. So what brings you hope? What helps you focus on the positive, both in your own thinking, when you feel down, when you feel stressed out? What do you do to focus on the good in life and to, like, amplify that and not get stuck on the push-pull, right? it's from that place, because that Chiron opposition, it's going to be like, I suck, or you suck, or it's all pain, or
Duality.
why can't I get over it? You know,
Black and white duality.
Yeah. And I just say that we can let go of childish behaviors. We can let go of acting out to get our needs met, or withholding to get our needs met. I would look at your own internal patterns. I feel like, or conversely, look at this is a big one for me in relationships. When your partner, whether it be business partner, life partner, whatever, triggers you and they're doing the thing that you get so irritated about, where do you do that? Like, take it back and look at, because so often when you're like getting irritated by someone, it's often a reflection of something that you do in a really subtle way. And so if you can make these internal adjustments, chances are you may not be controlling the outcome of what the other person's going to do, but you're going to change the vibration that you bring into the situation. And now we're rhyming.
And that's the sextile treasure.
That's the sextile treasure, girl. You're on it. I love it. Because quite frankly, Monday, the last day of the month, there is a Venus-Pluto square, which does show the control issues and the stuck places in the relationships. So you're like, oh, I had the new moon, I had the treasure of the sextile, and I have all this hope. And then near Monday, you're like, oh my God, it's the same shit again, right? So I can't believe it. So, and the people like trying to like get control and power struggles, like, it's real. So I don't know. I was making a recording today for a class I'm teaching, and I was talking about this paradox about how when you let go of trying to control a situation, you actually have more power and more sovereignty, because you can't really control other people. It's like, you just really can't. Even if you do for a while, or you think you just really can't. So you may as well just work on, letting go of that and seeing what kind of freedom and empowerment comes from that. So that's a segue in and of itself, because it's that kind of day.
And that's the month of September.
I feel complete. Oh my God. If you're still here listening, God bless you, or Goddess bless you, or Saturn bless you. I don't think Saturn's my God, but Saturn is a God. I don't know why I'm talking about God. Anything.
Okay. So,
oh shit. Oh, sorry.
Bringing in Virgo here.
Back to the beginning. Hold on. Yeah, wait.
Healthy little dose of Virgo. Clarity and details, except for big picture. Let's do big picture. I know we've talked about everything already, but just big picture themes as a summary wrap up.
Grounded analysis. How to cultivate balance. Weaving new patterns. Like finding, we know what's broke. How do we move forward in a new way? This grounded analysis helps us move forward, creating new patterns, new habits, healthy choices in all realms of life. That's also very Virgo, health-oriented. The health of the system, whether it's your body or a relationship or your business, right?
I love Virgo. So it's like the time to drink the teas and do your exercise routine. And
yes, movement will help you disperse the nervous energy, and enough rest too, but body stuff. Yeah. Routines. I interrupted you. Sorry. At least I'm not typing.
That's okay.
Can you hear this?
Yes.
That's a space key, everybody, because I'm in space. I'm just kidding. I can't stop. Okay. Yes. Yeah, so we have all that. Then we have the shift to, we have the Virgo and then the Libra. We have the equinox. So we have the shift from focus to equilibrium. We have Saturn stationing direct. That's big this month. Let me just look. I think Saturn is probably at the same degree all month long or something crazy like that, because when a planet stations, they just don't go anywhere for a minute. Let's look. Yeah, Saturn is at 14 and 13 degrees Capricorn all month long. So that's a like really steady presence in your charts. That's going from review to moving forward. This is why you want to look at your Capricorn energy, right? To see what have you been reviewing, what have you been trying to tinker with, and now you're moving forward in a new way, right? With a strong foundation. So that's a big thing. The sign changes 3 planets move into Libra, mid to the end of the month. That's big too. Sun, Mercury, Venus. Full moon in Pisces. Big letting go. Look back 6 months to see what you were dreaming into in March, what's coming to fruition.
I love it. What? Okay. I'm just going to put a little note to myself. I'll come back to that. Keep going. Sorry.
Yeah. And a new moon in Libra at the end of the month for fresh starts.
It sounds like a pretty good month.
I think it's a good month. It's a busy month.
Yeah.
It's a very busy month. Like when I was taking notes on all the aspects, like sometimes we don't have very many. And it's like, there's so many things happening. Get ephemeris and just look at it. Or, these are a big overview. I do send out emails mostly every week with more detailed analysis on the week by week. Because as I get closer to it, I see it more and I feel it more. These are big gestures, these month ahead reports, and as we get closer to things, they become more real. So
sign up for your email.
Sign up for my email if you're interested in getting mostly weekly emails from me. Gemini. Got my own funny habits. No, I've been pretty consistent this year. That's my Saturn. I've been rocking my Saturn this year with consistency, but also letting go of things that I think I should do that don't bring me joy and happiness. Like I quit writing on my blog because I was bored with it. I didn't like it. It felt like a drudgery.
And you're so good at talking.
Thank you. Even today when I'm making no sense.
Oh, it's the best, actually. Probably everyone would agree on the podcast. When you're the nuttiest is the best, I think.
Nutty equals good. I'll just embody a squirrel from now on. But
it's true.
I'm going to take a moment. Yes, you can sign up for my mailing list for more weekly stuff. KristinaWingeier.com. I'm sure there's a link in the show notes. Also, I do have a new class that's starting on Friday, September 13th. This is a 9-month program into feminist astrology, where we're going to be going through all the feminine planets. We're going to look at Venus. We're going to look at the asteroid goddesses. We're going to look at Sedna and Eris and really understand these archetypes, these stories that they tell and what they do in the chart, and try to update these identities for the 21st century, because a lot of what's running is very old kind of stories around the feminine. And it's kind of like an astro-mythic treasure hunting kind of thing. It's a 9-month program.
Fun.
It's really fun. 2 classes a month.
Are people going to be looking at their own charts and seeing how they affect their own charts?
Yes, I'm writing this bonus PDF that's at Astro 101. So you understand how to work with your own charts, and there's guidance on helping you work with your chart. And then people can also sign up for a VIP package, which is like a session each month with me during the program to look at the information, really for their chart specifically. It's
like astrology meets goddess meets
mythology. Yes.
Your goddess.
Yes, it is. It really is about we're working a lot with the asteroid belt, which is the fractured feminine consciousness, I feel like, with all these little pieces. And then these deep space planets, which are like frozen and far away, that things are thawing out. It's something I've been working on developing for a long time. And this is the first time I'm running it. It's called Goddess Codes. So
Goddess Code?
Goddess Codes.
Codes. Ooh, I love that. That's great.
It's fun. So we start on Friday the 13th because that's a very special goddess day. It's a Venus day. It's Friday the 13th, which is super magical. And we're enrolling through September 10th or 11th. So check it out and come join if you're interested. It'll be fun.
Oh, I love it. I was going to ask you before if there was anything you could share. If not, no big deal. But when you were saying at the full moon in Pisces, if you want to look back 6 months to March, have you noticed anything personally in your life or even just collectively?
Yeah.
Maybe just personally. Maybe not.
What I would say is that new moon in Pisces in March was also a day that Uranus moved into Taurus for the 7 year. So there was, and it was also the day after a Mercury retrograde. So it was a really funny new moon. But I would look to for me, my Pisces house, well, this actually ties into what I was just sharing, is my 9th house. And that's about teaching and being a student and being a teacher. and like philosophies and things like that. And so I'm teaching a 9-month program that begins on the day of the full moon. And if I look back in March, I was really workshopping this program with a group of women that I was like in a mastermind with. I was getting a lot of feedback on it. And now I'm bringing it into fruition, even though, it's been in the works for a long time. It was very actively being kind of workshopped around that new moon. And now here I am starting.
So cool.
So that's an example. So I would look really at the house in your chart where Pisces is, because that's going to help you get specific, right, on what dreams you're bringing forward.
Awesome. Love it.
Yeah.
Wow, there's a lot of fun work to do. Like if you want to do fun homework, there's a lot of fun homework to do.
There's a lot of work to do this month. Oh yeah, fun work, fun. Lots of typing is going to be necessary. I don't know. I just can't. This is like, you're like, shut up. But I don't know. I feel as though I can't let go of the typing jokes, but I won't make any typing jokes next podcast. I promise.
Well, we only really got a handle on that. This is like a serious thing a day ago. So
is it other podcasts too, or is it just us?
That's what I kept asking our editor, and I think it pops up on other ones too.
Okay.
But I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure.
Well, I mean, I am a Gemini. There could be a part of me that is furiously typing at the same time that I'm talking in another realm, and maybe it's coming through because technology.
Wi-Fi is space, right?
Oh, Wi-Fi is space. Yeah.
Yeah, like think of all the information that travels through space. Like look around you, you see space in between the objects. In that space are like how many different like Wi-Fi network connections, your smartphone stuff, images. I mean, imagine if we could see like images, videos, letters, emails, like moving.
Then we wouldn't actually see, like, I couldn't see out my window because there'd be so much information streaming.
I don't even know how it works, actually. Honestly, do you know how it works?
No, but what this is making me think of is like when you make a phone call back in the day when we had landlines, when we had operators moving things around, and there would be a crossed wire and you would like pick up the phone and be listening to somebody else's conversation or something like that, right? It's like that. That's what this little ghost is. It's somebody's conversation somewhere. Somebody's busy at work. Somebody is channeling all the Virgo. What's up with LOTUSWEI this month? The Sand Center. Sanson. How do you say it? Sand Center. Tell us what's going on.
Yeah, so we're recording this on the first day that I am back in the office from being in Asia after 3 months.
Oh my!
I haven't even been downstairs, so it's a big day, and we're doing all the things that we've been talking about. We're going to look big picture and do the top 3 priorities, and then get into our visions and plans and accountability plans and what we're up to for the next 4 months of the year. I had this weird bug in my butt yesterday where I had an hour free, not literally, metaphorically, and yeah, so I had to be sitting in an area, so I had an hour where I could spend however I wanted, and I had my phone, and I just felt like, you know what, I'm just gonna see like what we've done until now and just list it out. Oh, and you know what's a kind of a fun way to do it? This is how I did it. I had my phone, so I just scrolled in my images.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how images give you dates?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, oh, all the major events are here with the dates. And so I just wrote down all the dates and the big things that we've done all year. It's kind of insane.
Yeah.
And
you guys have done a lot.
But if for some reason, usually we do this, say like in December, but I feel like now it's a great time to do it now in month 9, because it sort of gives you an idea of where you've been and then how you're going to like finish out the rest of the year.
Mm-hmm. And by noticing what you've accomplished, right? Not noticing what you haven't done. I haven't finished this. Well, what have you done? Like that review of like all the wins and moving forward from that place. Because if you just keep moving forward from like, I'm not done, I haven't finished this, I've got to do that, then it's just like, it's an awful feeling. There's no celebration.
Yeah. And when you actually look at what you did accomplish, or not necessarily accomplish, but like live through and experience.
Eclipse season.
Yeah, that, and I mean, it's just shocking because,
Yeah.
especially if you put dates to it. I mean, I was looking at like, did an event, 2 days later, Joy died. 2 days later, did another event. Like, it's like, how do you,
Well, you guys are highly productive over there. Y'all do a lot of things.
we do.
We do.
And,
Yeah. Well, what are you doing? Are there any events in September that people might want to come to? You don't know yet because you just got back. Like, shut up, Kristina. I'm going to put it in when you're not here. I'm going to come back and record it.
Actually, we're transitioning from doing like what we were doing before was like a whole new event concept every month. And so we're going to look at what were the ones we did really well that just were like, we were super excited about, and then start doing a little version of that every week. Yeah, seeing how we can get some like consistency and regularity in the things that did work.
Saturn's going direct. There you go. That's your Saturn direct. I like it. And then people can still join Flower Evolution, or is that?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
You get the Star Flower and get your Fierce Compassion on.
Yeah, in the next 4 months after this, we'll have just pure animal realm essence.
I'm so excited. I looked ahead, and I think the sequencing is so interesting what you've laid out. I'm really curious about these things, these animal ones. What is it? Scorpion, sea anemone, butterfly. What's the last one?
Crab. Yeah, a lot of. So we have tide pool magic. We have fluttery butterfly magic transformation.
Scorpio is transformation too.
Yeah, like, so 2 transformation and 2
adapt. Well, tide pools are so adaptive. They're adaptogenic.
Like cyclic, right? Like alive for 12 hours and then hiding for 12 hours and then alive for 12 hours.
Extremes. Yeah. Oh, I love it.
If you're listening to us and you don't have a clue what we're talking about, but you're mildly interested.
You're like, the whole episode, weirdos. No kidding.
We've made the Flower Evolution program kind of secretive now because we really want people to have worked with flower essences before they move into those types of elixirs. But if you're listening, if you scroll all the way down to the website, you can still find it. There's a little button.
It's hidden in plain view.
And you and I talked about doing some sort of live Moonshine podcast recording episode, possibly in October. Is that correct?
Yes, I am excited about the possibility of driving out to Phoenix and coming and doing a live event. Maybe seeing some clients that might want to have their charts read in town.
That's really cool. So if folks would be interested in that, drop us a line. It's in the works. We just haven't set up dates. We may also be able to live stream it. So if you can't come to Phoenix and you want to live stream and do like a virtual sesh, we can do that too, right?
I think it'd be so fun to, I really want to come see your center. I've been wanting to come out, and I think it'd be really fun to do a live event.
Yes. I love the idea of doing live podcasts. It's so fun. And then we could take questions from the audience.
Totally. And then I can just hopefully be more coherent than I was today. I'm going to have to make sure the astrology.
I don't know. I think people like your incoherence. I know I do. Am
I really incoherent?
It's called humor. It's Gemini gone off the handle. We love it. We love you.
Sometimes we do that. It's that Mercury and Gemini opposed the galactic center. There's just so much to talk about.
Yep. I'm gonna give my merge with space Pisces self the ability to like pick up the reins and get focused on the details.
I got the moon in Pisces, so I can get distracted too. A lot of distraction in my chart.
Merging with space.
Merging with space and time.
Timeless time. Speaking of time.
It's time to go. It's Saturn time. Time to put a lid on it, girls.
Get her done.
Yeah.
All right. Well, have fun getting things done, everybody.
Yeah, good luck.
Use all that lovely Virgo energy to build out beautiful plans and get her done.
Perfect is an illusion. Put her out there anyway, right?
Wabi-sabi.
Wabi-sabi it. Wabi-sabi your way through September. There you go. That's your headline for the thing. Wabi-sabi through September.
Okay, wabi-sabi.
Write it down. Type it in. One last joke. one last smack on that. And I'm done. Okay, I have to go make some lunch.
Oh, here.
Bye, everyone. Have a great month. Happy September.
Thanks for listening to Moonshine and the Flower Lounge podcast. Have an amazing September, and we'll see you back in October. But there will be one more, right? The live podcast will be forecasting for November, right?
Yes.
You would come in October and you'd forecast for November?
Yes. Yes, we could do that. Mm-hmm. It wouldn't be forecasting for October because I can't, October will be happening in October. It'll be behind us. We're time travelers here. We're always 1 month ahead of everybody else somehow. Yes, it would be in November, or it could be an astrology of 2020 kind of podcast too.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like we haven't even talked about it. We just started like tickling the idea back to life. It was like dormant. It was dormant for a while, and we woke it up. So.
Okay, we'll keep you posted with the details. Thank you again for listening, and thank you, Kristina, for as always being our intuitive astrologer on the Moonshine episode.
Thanks, Katie.
Thank you so much for listening to the Flower Lounge. I'm Katie Hess, and we'll be releasing a new podcast every Wednesday. If you like what you heard, or you know someone who might be touched by our conversation, share it with them, and don't forget to subscribe. To find out what your favorite flowers mean about you, take the quiz at LOTUSWEI.com.